Hey guys, it's me, Shane, and I'm here to review ba 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 Superman, or James Gunn Superman, or Superman 2025. I'm so excited to get into this movie, but before I do, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well so you can be notified of more reviews like this. And the Patreon link is in there as well. Whatever you choose to donate, I will be very appreciative of, sincerely. So there's a bit of a misnomer with some people who watch this, and I've been told this to my face. A lot of people think I am a Marvel fanboy. That's it. That's all I do. I don't talk about anything else. I'll be honest with you. I don't have certain means of being able to watch all the DC stuff, but I do it as I can. Still haven't seen Peacemaker. There we go. Peacemaker. I need to. I'll get to that in a second, but I need to. I know they're doing a season 2. Haven't seen Creature Commandos, which, by the way, Creature Commandos is canon to this world. James Gunn already said, it's canon to this world. And Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, same Frank Grillo that played Crossbones in the MCU, he's in this movie. So, this is technically the first movie of the Gunverse. Maybe his third production, I think. I don't know if Peacemaker's done. So let's say third, tentatively fourth production, because we're going to count Peacemaker number 1. We're going to count Creature Commando. So technically this is third or fourth, but this is the first movie. And what is this movie about? Here is the plot. The plot is Superman is at odds with Lex Luthor, who vehemently hates his guts. And Superman is trying to navigate a world where he stopped a war, but people are giving him crap for it, where he's trying to, do the right thing, be the person who he believes that his parents, from Krypton wanted him to be. And through this movie of not even twists and turns, but through this movie of, you can kind of tell where some stuff is going. We get to see who he is, what the world is like, and, the characters and how they react to Superman. I gotta tell y'all, look, I try to be very nice about this. I was told this today. You try to be so nice and so diplomatic, but I'm gonna be honest, that's just flat out. This is better than the Zack Snyder stuff. Nothing against Henry Cavill. I like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill understands Superman. This is Superman. No, he does not kill anybody. By the way, if you haven't noticed, it's spoilers right there. All right. I'm going to try to keep this under 40 minutes. So I'm not going to go super in depth. But yeah, it's colorful. I needed it to be colorful. I'm tired of muted colors. I'm tired of everything being so damn sad and gray. Everything doesn't need to be edgy, guys. For anybody that goes, DC is different from Marvel because DC is edgy and blah blah. But no, man, you kind of showing that you don't read damn comic books, because both sides do some stuff that's just like, wow, you went that far. No, DC just has different characters. If we're gonna be honest, a lot of this stuff is all the same, and people borrow, pick and choose. Hell, I'm gonna be honest with you, the companies don't really hate each other. It just helps them that you think they hate each other, so you pick a side. It's like the freaking PlayStation and Xbox bullshit, or like the Sega versus Nintendo. Doesn't really matter. But the plot of this movie is good. It is nice and simple. You don't need it to be complicated. Now, let's talk about the effects real quick. The effects of this movie looks great. 5 out of 5. Automatically. Plot. I'll give the plot 5 out of 5, right? It's nice and simple. You can follow it. I'm also tying that with the pace, because the pace is fantastic. I'll get back to the pace in 1 second, but the effects are great. Like the eyes of the robots, of Superman's robots, which also have a little shield, but they have little numbers on them. Also, I don't know how the robots come to be. Like, we're introduced to number 14, who's new. And I thought the robots died, but no. I guess number 4 was the only one that could stay around, but he's still alive. Played by Alan Tudyk, by the way. The effects on the robots are great because his eye, like the one little visor eye, it has emotion. You see it squint, you see it move. Pretty dang good. The way Superman looks in flight and hovering. The monster, which if I darken this up, you can probably see that, but that doesn't matter. The way Green Lanterns constructs look great when they're fighting this other jellyfish thing. Hawk Girl's flight looks great. Everything with Mr. Terrific is fantastic. I was trying not to say terrific. The effects are just out of this world. So pacing. I give pacing a 5 out of 5 because we're not going too fast. We're not going too slow. There's no head jerking, knee jerks, or whiplash, as I like to call it. Like, we're not going like, oh, this is a super origin story. But at the same time, it's, who some of these characters are. Like, we get a nice little title crawl, not even title crawl, but in the beginning, talking about 300 years ago, 3 centuries ago, where metahumans appeared. And then it's like, 3 decades ago, a baby from Krypton shows up after the planet blew up. So Superman is somewhere around his 30s. If he ain't 30, I think the youngest he is like 28. I read somewhere where they were trying to say he's like 25. They ain't no 25-year-old. That's a 30-year-old man. So he's in his career, not like Smallville, but he's in his career, right? I like the fact that Superman is here. Lois knows Clark is Superman. There are superheroes that he's already met. Metahumans are a thing. No offense to Marvel, because they like to do things and make things connected, which I think James Gunn is going to benefit from his time with working with them. And James Gunn also kind of made a Superman movie with, what was that movie? The movie Brightburn. He kind of did this already. Kind of. I like this. Even Superman has introduced himself to those people. I like, he's already grown up. We don't have to see him landing and then being raised, even though he does get a nice montage of seeing, his Earth parents. We see his Kryptonian blood parents and all that, which we'll get to that in a minute, because they definitely changed some stuff there. But I feel like it's a red herring to introduce a famous Superman villain from the movies. But, yeah. All that is fantastic. The music, kind of hit or miss. It's kind of hit or miss. Like, we do get the John Williams, we get the Superman theme in there, just like in this Superman's theme that I always listen to movies themes before I go, while I'm going to see the movies. It's snuck in there. The John Williams theme is played a lot, which, just flat out, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I feel like if you have a established theme, whether John Williams did it or Danny Elfman did the Spider-Man themes, did the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man themes, which were fantastic. I think we should always have a bit of that in there, a bit of the dun 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 in the Spider-Man one, just like we have the John Williams Superman there. They didn't do this for the Batman, even though that theme was really good. I feel like you should have a little bit of, the Tim Burton one. I think John Williams also did that one as well. Like, stuff like that should be in there. But where I say it missed, there's one of my favorite scenes where Terrific is doing a solo while protecting Lois. I don't know what the hell that song was. I didn't even bother to pay attention. I didn't even bother to take out my phone and hit the button to get the song. It felt out of place. There was another scene with a song like that, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, this is not like music in Guardians of the Galaxy. Even if I didn't know the song, it fit the moments, and it was nice and heavy. Though those songs were not it. For that reason, I kind of want to give it a 3 out of 5. I'm itching towards that 4 out of 5 for the music, just because of the John Williams score. Like, fantastic. But yeah, the music was kind of hit or miss, right? The shots were just amazing. Like, one of my favorite shots is, he stops his building from falling on a woman whose car stalled out while she's trying to drive away. And after it does, and he's rising out of the rubble, you get all that smoke and him and like the light. There's other scenes where the sunlight comes in, where he's up in orbit with the engineer and Ultraman. That stuff is just shot well. Which, when I was doing my little lookup for all this, they did take inspiration from All-Star Superman, which All-Star Superman also has an animated movie based on the All-Star Superman comics. This is definitely that Superman, full of hope, full of light, a good dude. This is good. This is really good. So I don't know if you guys pay attention to the news. The right/far right hate this movie because James Gunn says it's about an immigrant. It's an immigrant story. Yeah, it is. But I think another reason they hate it is literally Barovia is literally Israel fighting against Palestinians who have nothing but rocks, and maybe one dude has an axe. Get to that in a second. But let's go over here to the immigrant story. Yeah, Superman's always been an immigrant story. Actually, Superman was made by 2 Jewish men to punch out Hitler. But Superman came from outer space. Even in the show Smallville, did you guys ever watch Smallville? There's an episode where he's harboring this kid who's looking for his parents. He may be an illegal immigrant, but the kid's trying to find his parents. Around the same age as Clark. And Ma Kent, who in this series is just stupid dumb conservative woman. It's just like, well, no, it's different. He's like, Ma, you forged papers for me. You're even more wrong than this. This Superman's always been this. And even makes a reference, kind of makes a reference where like Luthor even calls him an it. Like, with things that are going on in the world right now, this was a good job to James Gunn for having some type of spine and moral compass. Because even with stuff like the Hellfire Vigil, I can't believe they even thought that was okay. If the Hellfire Vigil crap, where it's just, I can't believe that. When you got the white Black Panther. Thank you, James Gunn, for being like, yeah, I'm not gonna. This is what this story is. Barovia being Israel is so just Israel/Russia. If we're gonna be real, like, you got this president dictator guy who, the moment they can, they got that the DOJ has Superman, just goes crashing on in. Lex's group is called Planet Watch, who didn't want to forget that because I didn't write in my notes, but yeah. And it's kind of showing, like, if the world had superpowered people, what would they do? It also does raise some good questions. And Lois is doing her damn thing. She goes, look, I do believe in you. I don't think you are a bad guy. I know why you made those decisions. But you went to a president. You pressed him against a cactus. You kind of coerced him. You bust up a few tanks. Where Barovia is an ally of America, you kind of could have messed things up. You didn't get approval from the president, from anybody, XYZ, which is why this leans towards Israel, because Barovia is Anyhow, good job, James Gunn. Especially not shying away from this. This isn't watered down or muted. Good job on that end. So let's get into some nerdy stuff here. Let's get into some cameos. I already mentioned Rick Flag Sr. Told you who, Frank Guerrillo, Creature Commandos, in charge of Argus, which means we should be getting, who does Viola Davis play? I can't believe I forgot I can't believe I forgot her name like that. I feel slightly bad for forgetting that she plays Amanda Waller. But pretty sure we're going to be seeing her. Speaking of Rick Flag Sr., John Cena's in here. It's Peacemaker, where he shows up on the allegory to Fox News. I can't remember the name of the comedian, and I don't feel like looking it up, but he plays a good, allegory to Sean Hannity. Very, very funny. Sean Gunn is Max Warlord. If you've seen the Peacemaker trailer, you'd have seen that. The Justice Gang, so funny because Lord is funding them, which in the comics and I think in other places he's shown up, he's been a bad guy, setting up evil justice crime societies to work against. I think he also killed the first Blue Beetle in the comics, and there's a lot of was he a cyborg? Wasn't he a cyborg on Infinite Crisis? Won't talk about that. But let's talk about this Justice Gang, which is indeed a dumb name. But Hall of Justice is there. Literally, from the Super Friends, the Hall of Justice is there. We got to have some more superheroes in here. William Reeve, son of Christopher Reeve, he plays a news reporter in here. You see him quick. Metamorpho and his son. Metamorpho has I won't say a big part, but he has an important part where there's no more kryptonite on Earth, right? So he can recreate kryptonite. He's kind of holding Superman there when they capture him until Lex literally kills a guy. And he's like, I can't do this, but they have his son. And he also makes a son. He makes something like a son just to power Superman up so he can get his son and they can all get the heck out of this place. I gotta put that in for visual effects, which is also funny because while he's doing that, you have the people captured going, oh no, we're gonna get in trouble. Oh, we're gonna try to tattle on you. Yeah, that's very indicative of people who are only thinking of themselves and doesn't think of anything else unless it hurts them in real life. So does he thinks of everything like the sun is made out of? It makes the sun. Like it's really, really cool. I guess I should talk about him now. I'm gonna talk about the characters later, but yeah, very, very cool. We also his son Joey, who initially I thought, I was like, is that a baby Martian Manhunter? No, that's his son. His son, when you're a metahuman guy, and if you have a baby with your regular human girl, your son's gonna be a little weird looking. Is there anybody else in here? This also looks like there's a thing that drives them around in this pocket dimension that Lex stupidly made. And it's a white, it looks like it's a white Martian. I think he said the name of it. Like Martin or something like that. I don't remember the name he called this thing, but yeah, looks like a white Martian to me. I think we're getting a setup to Zod because Kal-El's parents, he has this message from them that while he doesn't know the Kryptonian language, the robots can translate it. And now named Gary at the end, he says what they're saying, we love you with all our heart. You are the hope of Krypton. We're sending you to Earth. And the rest of the message is messed up because it was in his pod. But, Superman's like, yeah, I believe the rest of the message is be here and do good. That's why I'm doing all this good, because that's my purpose. When it turns out, when Lex breaks in there, and the engineer, who is a villain who comes from, they're going to make an Authority movie, which I don't know why. Authority is really obscure, but we're doing Authority, good, anti-heroes that are willing to kill people. She gave up her humanity to help Lex get the alien, and they do not hesitate in talking shit about Clark, being like, yeah, you're not from here, you're a thing. She gets it and then is able to fully translate it, which I guess that shows how smart Lex is, that he can make nanites that can make someone else be able to fully bring out a message, and then they send it off so it can be translated. Which, okay, comic book world, that feels like a kind of a plot hole, but comic book world, I guess people can break it down. And everyone's like, no, Clark, this is real. This is, these people, even Mr. Terrific was like, they wouldn't put that out there if it, these people wouldn't put their name on it if it wasn't real. But his parents basically said, go and conquer Earth. They are literally Viltrumites. They're wearing white too. That's what's so funny about it. They are literally Viltrumites. And I think that's going to lead up to, if his second movie isn't Zod, which I think the second movie needs to be a Brave and the Bold movie with Batman, which please, Matt Reeves, whichever your last name is, let your Batman be in the same universe as this Superman. Come on. A young Batman and a young Superman. Anyway, feel like this is setting that up. Like that. But just that footage, I don't know why no one is thinking like it could have been faked, which, the fact that they leaned into the fact that that the footage wasn't faked adds to one of my favorite moments in this movie. But excuse me, but they could have gone a whole different way with it, which I'm glad. I guess we didn't need to go the whole, I found the real footage and what it really says. No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's talk about my favorite scenes. Move the rubble. I already said the rubble scene, with appearing through it. The conversation that he has with Pa Kent, after he's, Lois brought him back with the little T ship thing, Mr. Terrific ship, which he said it was intuitive, so she could able to learn how to fly it. I guess he made it that way on purpose. I digress. That conversation he had with Pa Kent made me cry, because even though Clark is like, well, my parents, Paul still considers himself his dad. I don't think Clark is also like, I don't think he's negating that. I think he's acknowledging he has two parents, the ones that raised him and the ones that birthed him. But he's like, well, I'm not the person I thought I was. My parents sent me here for something else. And Paul's like, look, the fact that you made up what you thought the end of that message was says a lot about you. Parents are supposed to give their children tools. We're supposed to give you tools so you can go out and figure out who you are. We're not supposed to put things on your shoulders and your backs. That was a really good moment. Really saved from that Man of Steel thing where you got Ma Kent going, you can save them or you can't. I don't care. That's Ma and Pa Kent are supposed to be like these people that are like, hey, do good, do the right thing, do what's in your heart, but do the right thing. And then your heart is being a good person. I love this moment. I really love this moment. Given that, I've lost my father figures, kind of reminds me of the kind of people they were. Makes me think of the kind of father I want to be in the future. Really good scene. I cannot say enough about this scene. My next second favorite scene is Superman versus the Raptors. Now you would think it'd be Superman versus Ultraman, which, okay, that fight was good. How he solved it was kind of cool. Like, he dislocated his shoulder just to make sure he slammed in front of a bus to get into a black hole. That was badass. But the scene after, when the Raptors come in and Lex tells him kill him, and he goes, you can try. I loved this because he punches one guy's helmet off, his teeth go flying. We've seen a little bit of this, but just the whole thing. We even got Crypto biting the hell out of some dude just off the side. The spinning red eye beams are just taking all these dudes out. That was really good. I love that. But my absolute favorite scene of the Superman movie ain't even Superman. It is Mr. Terrific solos the Raptors trying to go and get Clark. Like, flies down there. His technology maps out where he walked, and then the signal's gone. By the way, he puts nanites in the blood of everybody, of his friends, so he can locate them, which is funny. But puts up a shield so they can't hurt Lois. This is the scene where the music doesn't quite hit right for me. It just feels kind of weird. But goes in, and you see him, his T-Spears, knocking folks out, knocking them out. He even goes in like punch a dude, uppercuts a guy, T-Spear throw like he's in a freaking Injustice game, just knocking folks out. And then, steps in, brings down like, all right, come on, let's do this. Like, he is a goat. He is the goat in here. Matter of fact, hold on. I wrote this when I was talking about him, but so damn cool. I'm gonna try to save it. I gotta save that because he is so awesome. Edie, I'm not gonna mess up this man's name. Edie Gathegi. Redemption for being Darwin, and those idiots went, he'll blow up and we'll never see him again. Which we do see him again in the comics, but good brother, you don't ever have to go back to a Marvel movie. You don't even have to go to MCU. If they're gonna cut you a check, whatever. Him as Mr. Terrific, him as one of the coolest black superheroes. James Gunn did damn good. And I remember there was someone, maybe it's in a private group of mine, somebody was like, oh man, they're not gonna do Static because they don't want to do black superheroes. No, we have to get the Justice League right first, because we barely got a good Superman. We don't have a Batman, period. We just got a Green Lantern. We don't even have a Flash, which I hope Grant Gustin is the new Flash. He was the best Flash person. Please don't pick up someone new. Just get Grant Gustin, please. Anywho, fantastic. But I think we will probably get Static, aka Static Shock. We will probably get Static soon. But Mr. Terrific being the premier black superhero for Gunn's DC, EU, Movie U, whatever you. Good job, dude. So let's talk about the characters real quick, right? Let's talk about these characters. David Cornsweat Superman. I am not ashamed to say this dude is my Superman, because technically my Superman. I just miss Reeve, but I grew up with Superman 1 and 2. Technically with Superman 2 more, Superman 1 with the Zod movie, and then Richard Pryor being Superman 3. But technically, the Superman I grew up with the most was one from the animated series played by Tim DeLay. Just Superman in every sense. And the inspiration, if I can just pull this up real quick. I know they took inspiration from All-Star Superman. What I do remember is Cornsweat talking to both Cavill and the guy who played Superman for the CW their whole thing. He talked to them and they both said, I'm not giving you any tips. I'm just going to tell you this is what I learned and everything, but I'm not giving you any tips. I'm not going to tell you how to play Superman. You got the job. You know what to do. And he did a great job. He's, by the way, All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison, Frank Quietly. That team shows up again for all new X-Men and just can't go wrong with them. Anyway, the dual identity thing does a good job because, when he's at the work, he's Clark Kent. But then, when Lois like, well, you can't keep interviewing yourself. People are going to figure out that you're Superman sooner or later. And he's like, all right, you interview me. And Lois does not hold him back. We see this in the trailer. The full scene is great. Because there's several times where she, has to turn off the recorder. Like, you got to say off the record if you want stuff off the record, right? Like, you would know this if you actually sat down and interviewed somebody. He's trying to kind of do the Peter Parker thing, where it's like, how does Peter Parker keep getting pictures of Spider-Man? Who knows? But she does not let up. Like, she's saying, yeah, I know in my heart, I believe that, what was the name of the guy? The president of Barovia, who gives a crap? I don't know if I look at his name up. But in my heart, I know he's trying to run over and take over these people because he's a bad dude. But I can't say without a benefit of the doubt because I am a journalist. And when he's talking to her, the emotion he has, people were going to die. That's why I did it. I did it because I just wanted to do good. I'm doing this because I was sent here to do good. That's why I did good. And she even asked him like a question a journalist would. Okay, who were your parents? I can't tell you that. Yeah, he can't tell you that he grew up in Smallville, Kansas, Smallville, Midwest. Mom, Pa Kent definitely would have been in trouble. And I think it benefited him because Lex even threatens, yeah, maybe I'll kill Clark Kent, that guy that does the interviews with you. The reason why people don't know that Superman is Clark Kent is because he has hypno glasses. That's actually really, really, really cool. I'm like, okay. Besides him, his hair being nice and clean as Superman and being frazzled up as Clark Kent with the glasses. The glasses are hypno glasses. Even his stature, he sits up when he's Superman. Kind of has a little bit more confidence. He's so fun and dorky, and I like that for this Superman. I like that when we get a Batman, whether it is Twilight Batman or not, Batman's gonna be, as Batman, dark and brooding, quiet, just grunting sometimes, just whatever, because he's the opposite when he's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is, charming and haha, hey, ladies. Clark Kent is like, nerd man. But then Superman is like corny best friend. I like it. I like it a lot. Even like the scene with the giant dragon monster thing, he doesn't want them to kill the monster. He also saves a dog, saves a squirrel, saves a woman, saves a little kid. And all those things are really great too. He didn't want them to kill it. He's like, well, couldn't we find a way of knocking it out and removing it away and to study it? Or if we were going to kill it, could we euthanize it in a less painful way? Guy Gardner's giving him shit for come on, Big Blue, blah, 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 blah. He's also sensitive about online stuff. He tries not to read it, but super shit. Which we're going to get to that in a second, because online monkeys, that is funny. Anyway, Lois, bro. Lois is not like, oh no, Superman saved me. Lois is straight up, okay, I'm going to find my man. She has emotional vulnerability because, she's like, I don't trust anything. I was the punk rock kid, and Clark thinks he was punk rock, which is funny. But she's like, you trust everybody and believe that the person they're showing you is who they are. And you believe in the good in everybody. That's why she was gonna break up with him, but she didn't, because he said he loved her before he went to turn himself in, and at the end she loves him. I like that this is already established, and I don't have to get 2 to 3 damn movies to get here. I like that she, drives the ship, figures out that it's more than, we can look on the surface and see that Lex was basically giving them weapons, but there's more to this. Really great job. Rachel Brosnan. I had some doubts. My doubts were quelled the moment she came on and she was speaking. Really, she has good chemistry with David Cornsway. Really good chemistry. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her Lois in the future. The only shame is that we won't get like the animated series. We won't get Bruce Wayne going, yeah, I'm going on a date with Lois Lane, and I know that's your girl, and I'm doing it because you've been messing with me, so I'm gonna mess with you. We won't get that, but I like this. Lex Luthor is evil as shit. So I mentioned, he said, oh, maybe I'll kill Clark Kent next. This dude killed a dude that gave Superman falafel once. Like, he did a Russian roulette thing. It's like, tell me where your parents from, where you come from, blah, 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 blah. And the falafel dude is like, I have no family. Don't worry, Superman. Don't tell him anything. He gets killed. Like, super evil. He's super evil while we have, evil Barovian dude there. Just, he is obsessed with him. He's very much a stand-in for Elon Musk and Trump. Obsessed with the fact with Superman so much that cloned him to make Ultraman, who ends up being the Hammer of Barovia. So, 2 characters in one. Okay. Got a feeling he's going to show back up again as Bizarro. who Corn Sweat also plays, Ultraman, which in the comics, Ultraman comes from Earth 3. He's an evil Superman, the crime syndicate of America, blah, 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 blah. But here, he is a clone, which I think in New 52, Bizarro was a clone, I think. There's so many different DC reboots, way too damn much. But he's probably going to come back as Bizarro. Please don't let him come back as No, it was not Darkseid. No, not Darkseid. Doomsday. Please don't do that shit. Please don't do that. Please let Doomsday be his own thing. Please. He has this thing. He said, I get sick to my stomach when people compare him to, I think, Copernicus and Galileo. But he's like, at least they worked hard and they weren't handed everything, because you show down, you come down here, and the only thing people talk about is your outfit. Just the fact that I mentioned he was obsessed. He knew the move Superman would make. He has a whole team of people basically controlling Ultraman like they're in a fighting game. Saying positions that I almost felt like are real, like from anime fighters, like 2L, 3-5, what sounded really good. But the one thing that strikes me is he cried. Like when the Daily Planet people get together and they finally get the information they need, they put it out there. Lex was working with this country because he wants the country they're taking over. He's going to call it Luthonia. He wants to be a king. And he did this and he did that. And once everything starts crumbling, he cries. Pardon me. And you wonder if he's crying like out of sadness or if it's out of anger. You ever been so mad that you just start to cry and your eyes well up? Like you wonder what that is. Matter of fact, tying Superman back to him, Superman even says to Lex, like, man, stop calling me an alien. I'm human. This ties into the immigrant story. I am a human being. I have fears. I get sad. I wake up every day wondering if I can do the best, and I just go out and I try to do it because that's what humanity needs. Humanity needs us to be the best we can be. And, Lex, you should be able to wake up and do the same thing. And Lex is just like, don't patronize me. I do like the fact that Crypto then came in and beat the shit out of Lex, like tossed him around. Very funny, because Lex was going to try to euthanize him, so he got his just desserts. Didn't write anything for Crypto. We'll talk about him towards the end. I gotta cut through here. Mr. Terrific is badass. He talks. His lines are precise. When he does comedy, his comedy is also funny. He's also like the straight man, like the second. Was it the second? I think it was the second, the second after credit scene where, after he fixed the dimensional rift, it's like it closes up and everything kind of slides back together, but nothing is ever perfectly aligned because stuff was cut in half. And we get this funny joke where Clark's like, yeah, but it's not straight. And he's like, really, dude? Even when he brings the dog that tore up his stuff, he's like, that stuff's expensive. Really, dude? He's funny while being a straight man funny. It is so good. He has chemistry with Superman too. I like it. He has a lot of great chemistry. The one guy that was working for Lex that was like, I'm gonna close it now. He's like, no, don't close it. Keep it open. And this is one guy that's finally having a change of heart where all of Lex's crew just hates this illegal alien guy. And when Terrific shows up, because Lex had a pod that dropped off from his building, doesn't care about his building falling apart. Okay. But the guy's like, oh, I'll help you turn it off. He muffs this guy in the face and goes, he's like, I don't need your help. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. Done. The solo scene, done. He is smart. He is cool. For a guy that tells Lois, who she's like, well, I'm just thinking out loud to myself, and he has to look back at her like, girl, I told you I don't care about, I don't do the emotion thing. But he does, because Guy and Hawk Girl, they're not going to help because of what it would look like for the United States, and it's probably look bad. He's like, I'm gonna help you find Clark. We do get a funny scene with the slow door going up. She's like, you can make a spaceship, but you can't make the door go up. He's like, I'm gonna work on that later. But he kind of does have emotions. Part part of me kind of wants him to have his own series, but we don't need like too many series, right? We're already going to get the Authority, which I don't even know if we need that, but okay. Am I missing anything? Amazing job. Edie Gathegi. Great job. Also, he put nanites in all of his friends' bloodstreams, which is just, that was funny how that came out. Jimmy Olsen is a ladies' man. You know, initially I was like, are they looking at Clark? No, they're looking at Jimmy. The girl's looking at Jimmy. Jimmy also gets, you know, his ex-girlfriend, Eve Texmacher. She wants to get back with him, even though she's with Lex. She wants Jimbo. I hope at the end of the movie, I thought Lex was gonna kill her, but he didn't kill her. You know, those idiots think she was just sending selfies to another man. She's actually smarter than what she lets on, because all her selfies have plans behind her. Like, they have written out what is going on. And even Lois goes, she's actually a genius. Because that's how you make folks think, oh yeah, I'm just this dumb girl just taking. No, she's getting evidence for her boo, Jimmy. Jimmy even said to Lois, I can't tell you who my source is, but yeah, I know where Superman's being held, X, Y, Z, and a third. Jimmy even knew that Lois and Superman were a thing. But yeah, Jimmy, Eve, they're kind of, after, because, you know, movies about Superman, but after Mr. Terrific, Jimmy and Eve, those are goats. Perry, played by Wendell Pierce, fantastic casting. The dude even asked, he's like, hey, people give me comics so I can understand this character, because I didn't read comics when I was younger. Did a great job. I feel like Perry knows that Superman is Clark, because when, you know, when Superman went to do an interview with Lois after all this, he's like, so how long those two been together? He's like, I think a couple months now. They've been together a little bit longer than that, I think. But anyway, really great job there. I mentioned the Engineer and Ultraman. They're villains. The real villain here is Lex. You know, the Engineer, her motivations are kind of weird. She gave up her humanity. She does have a weird CGI scene where she's on her hands doing a handstand, but then flips, and then her legs where her hands are and her hands where her legs were, just showing what has happened to her. I mentioned Ultraman. Hawk, okay. Guy Gardner first. Nathan Fillion, great job. He's played Hal Jordan a bunch of times doing the voice, but great job as Guy Gardner. Gets down, he's an asshole. Guy even stands toe-to-toe with Superman. Is like, oh, bring it on, Big Blue. He wants to keep calling them the Justice Gang, which is a dumb name. He even doesn't want Metamorpho to join them, because he's like, well, he ugly. You want this to be the face of us? And Metamorpho's like, Justice Gang? I like that name. No, he's in. This is my buddy. He does middle finger constructs. He made a baseball bat construct to fight a dimensional imp, which Superman said it was. Looked like a giant jellyfish. Dimensional imp could be a hint of Mixapizalix. Not saying that name again. Imp dude who is a Superman fan, who also has other imps that are like Batman fans and Nightwing fans. I digress. Great job here. Hawk Girl. She was okay. Like, she wasn't offensive, but her screech, that was a choice. I don't know if it was a good choice, but that was a choice. It is interesting, though, that she grabs, President Barovia, man, and he's like, oh, I know you want to kill me. You're like Superman. She's like, I ain't like Superman. Just drops him, which, yeah, that's a Hawk Girl thing to do. Hawk Girl would literally drop somebody. The only reason she wouldn't kill him is Jon Stewart, from the animated series at least. So I enjoyed her performance. She didn't take me out. I just hated the screech. Like, wait. Yeah, that just, she does it twice, and I did not like it. I hope they don't have her do the screech ever again. Or if you do have her do the screech, get the sound effect of a red-tailed hawk. The sound effect that they use for eagles, even though eagles don't actually sound like that. Get that and put that in there. Because no. Metamorpho, yeah. Man, you acting like a little bitch. I have to say this. I did not want to say, I was going to say it out loud in the theater because I was getting into it. And I was sitting next to some of the greatest people. Miss Bennett, if you are watching this, hi to you and your husband. Great, just great people. We were into just the folks that were watching this movie with me. Like, it wasn't super packed, but everybody was having a good time. The atmosphere was great. But Metamorpho, bro, you acting like a little bitch. I'm glad you manned up after that and was like, okay, I saw him kill somebody. I can't just sit here and wait for a second and third person. Because you feel like in an older kind of movie, the person who's like, oh no, he's done two people. Ooh, there's two blood on my hand. No. His scenes were great, though. The special effects on Metamorpho were fantastic. Doing the spin, he turns into phosphorus. And, you know, the bad guys in this interdimension, like, what are you going to do, splash us? He's like, yes, actually, this is sulfuric acid. Reforms himself, turns into sand, turns into steel. Good effects on Metamorpho. Does not feel like they cheapened out on any of the special effects. Am I missing anybody? Shot. Oh, so let's talk about first after credit scene. Superman sitting on the moon with Krypto, watching it, and like I was telling folks around me, I was like, do not leave. There's a scene after the credits, which that was the scene with Terrific, but we had another scene where Supergirl shows up. This is where Ford, played by Adam Tudyk, gets his name Gary, because he's like, well, Ford's a name. He's like, yeah, but so is Gary, and he calls him Gary. Dude takes care of him. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna pay the loop of your parents. Let's get him a shot of sun energy. Like, if I could care, sir, I would be upset with her actions. Very funny. Alan Tudyk, why do you keep playing like really great characters? Anyway, Supergirl shows up. Krypto is her dog. The reason why Krypto is so rough is because that's how he plays with her, like cracking the ground, fighting with her. And, you know, Clark is just like, Kara, come on. Him and Gary are like, no discipline. Can't believe that. And when she leaves, she's like, bye, bitch. Literally calls her. Well, it is modern day, right? Like, bye, bitch. And Superman explains to Gary, like, yeah, she goes to, planets with red suns because then she can get drunk. Being here with the yellow sun, it's not going to do anything to us. So she goes off to get drunk. I think, now she's playing this party girl, but I think, because she also gets her own movie, she is played by, I apologize, I should have already pulled this up. My homegirl from House of the Dragon. Hold on, wait, I don't want to mess this up. I like getting names right. Plus, I haven't gone too far over the time. Where are you, Supergirl? Dang, there's a lot of people in here. There's a lot of people in here. There's entirely too many people in here. Oh, there we go. Millie Alcock from, again, I mentioned House of the Dragon. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. She looks the part. The outfit looks good. Like, this S does look kind of weird, but the more you see it, the less I actually care. It's cool. Everyone has their own S. Plus, I needed a new Superman shirt anyway, because my other one I've had for literally, like 15 years, if not longer. But damn, I've actually had that shirt for almost 20 years. I digress. She looks great. She shows up. It feels like she is going through depression. Remember, their planet is gone. She would remember what Krypton was like, unlike Clark. Clark would not remember because he was a baby. Although when she passed through, she remained young in her pod, and he is now older. So, yeah. She's getting her own movie, which is supposed to have Lobo in there, played by Jason Momoa. So she's supposed to get her own movie, which will probably address it. It's based off of Supergirl. Was it Girl of Tomorrow? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Probably more than serious about the Authority, if I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, my experience was great. All in all, was this the perfect movie? I feel like this was a really great start. I feel like this was a fantastic Superman movie. So much so that I don't really care about. I really don't care about any other past Superman stuff. Like I couldn't. Was it Brandon Roth? The Brandon Roth Superman from 2006 Superman, which that movie was boring to hell. Although, was it the guy playing Lex in that movie who ends up on House? Was he on House of Cards? James Spader? Yeah, James Spader. You know, he's actually a real villain. He was a funny Lex. But this is probably like the best Superman movie we've gotten in a while. If you like Man of Steel, okay, cool. It's okay. I don't know, because I don't need Superman's first movie to be him killing people. This is great. This was fantastic. There's nothing really stopping me from giving it a 5 out of 5. I feel like it's a 5 out of 5, but I'd also feel like it's a 4.5 out of 5, only because of the weird music choices at certain spots, and a couple of the plot threads kind of falling down. Like that dude got murdered. I hope that is addressed sooner or later, but probably not, because he's a minor character. This is as close to a 5 as you get. I'm actually willing to give this a 5 out of 5 because I like this. He made himself my live action Superman. Love it. Great job. I'm looking forward to whatever else is in the future for this Superman. 5 out of 5 from me. I did not watch other people review this because probably the main person I didn't watch was Angry Joe Show, because he is a Superman uber fan. And honestly, there are people you're not going to please. You're not going to please the Snyder cult because, it's got to be dark and you got to be realistic. We're talking about a guy who flies around in a cape, calls himself Superman, super breath, eye beams, which we do see in here. Come on, guys. Can we stop trying to make comic book movies realistic? We can make the message deal with what we're dealing with in our everyday lives. We don't need everything to be realistic. Fun. 5 out of 5. Go see this movie right now. Let me know what you thought. If you've seen the movie already, let me know what you think. Comment section down below. Do you agree with anything I said? If you do, or if you don't, leave a comment down there as well. Please don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, though that actually really matters. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of more reviews like this one. And I thank you all for showing up. Please. Also, if you want to help me out, Patreon link is in the description as well. Please be good, be blessed. Wash those hands, drink some water. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk, all right? We have way too many of those in the world. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Realize that you are not alone in this world. You might feel like, you've come from a faraway planet and that you're all alone. Maybe you are or you aren't. But I don't think you are. There's someone out there that cares about you, and there's someone out there that would rather talk to you today than miss you and mourn you tomorrow. Reach out to somebody. My social media's in that description below. Give me a follow. Send me a hello. Be mellow, though, and we'll be good to go. All right? All right. Guys, I'm looking forward to just what else happens. My Ironheart reviews are going to be coming soon. Ironheart and Superman, two things that have come under so much scrutiny within the last 2 weeks. Hilarious. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to find a way to watch Creature Commandos and Peacemaker, because those need to be reviewed as well. Until next time, citizen, remember, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.